Well, you got rid of Northampton's director of rugby after a decade. What's your reaction to the exit of Mr. Mallender?
I think when you're in this business, you don't take any satisfaction from that. You focus on yourself and getting your own business right. Jim's done a tremendous job at Northampton. I think you got to recognise that. But as I said, we're focused on what our jobs are about and what our mission is this week.
Did you have the feeling going into last Saturday's game that it was crucial in that sense to keep seasons alive for both teams?
Well, based on where both teams are in their respective leagues, we were obviously desperate to get the performance, and through performance hopefully get a victory. And for 60 minutes we were excellent, close to excellent. So we were focused on our own business. We recognised the qualities that Northampton have. They're a big team in the Aviva Premiership. They've got fantastic support in the stadium, everything that you admire. But equally, we have a good team, and we showed that at the weekend.
So, what sort of game are you expecting at the Liberty Stadium, having had a crazy game from a rugby point of view up in Northampton?
Yeah, there are key moments early on in the game where maybe it could have gone either way. I think you saw yesterday the importance of getting early scores on the board and turning pressure into points. And when you get ahead, then it's the confidence that brings to you. And you look at our players' faces, you look at our bench reaction. We were enjoying ourselves, and not in a silly way. We were enjoying ourselves because we were working hard, we were doing the basics well. We were intense, we were physical, we were smart, and we were clinical. And to get to that point, you've got to respect what you do during the week. It just doesn't happen by accident. And we trained well last week, so we prepared really well going into the game. And there was good confidence, felt like that in the warm-up. And we need to be in that place again, because Northampton have shown in the last number of years in Europe that they've lost to Ulster and they've lost to Leinster at home, but they've gone away in the return fixture and won away from home. So we're very conscious of that, and we respect what we need to do to ensure that we're right on the money this week.
And how do you see the group after the Clarke win in Saracens?
For us, it's about next game, and I think if you can be in a position after 4 rounds, then you'll have a better picture of where you're going to be in the knockout stages and what you need to do when you break into January. So Sunday's really important to us, and not just in the context of the season, in the context of building on what was so good last week, but also in our aspirations, both Pro 14 and Europe.
In terms of the squad, who will be coming back into the mix for this weekend's selection?
Obviously with a few boys down at the weekend, with minor knocks that they picked up in the autumn internationals. You look at Dan Bigger, Rhys Webb, Justin Tipuric, they'll all come into contention. Paul James is back on his feet today. Gareth Thomas is back on his feet today. So the squad's reasonably healthy as it stands, particularly at this stage in the season.
Particularly good news to have some of your big hitters back. Then Justin Tipuric, haven't seen him for a couple of months.
Yeah, Tips has played a lot of top class rugby over the last number of years, and sometimes it just catches up with you, and so hopefully you can get a run of games now, and you can really add to the group as a whole.
You look selection headaches then, will you?
Yeah, good place to be. We've had selection headaches because we've had limited options, but we're having good questions at the moment. There's good competition within the group, so that's healthy, particularly at this point in the season and with the run of games we're going to have over the Christmas period.
How happy were you, Alan, with Scott Baldwin's performance? And do you feel, if he keeps playing like that, he can push himself back into the Wales mix?
Yeah, it was Scott's best performance that I've seen since I've been here. What I said to Scott afterwards is where I expect him to be. So that's a benchmark for him with a view to progressing further. He's working hard, he's been tremendously honest, and he got his rewards at the weekend, but he's a quality player, he's a quality experienced player. The key is now that he backs that up and is better this weekend.
What about injuries? Anyone out as a result of last weekend?
I'm thinking. Obviously, James King took a bad knock, so he's a question mark. But that's the only injury concern that we would have.
What's the nature of that one?
He's in the shoulder region, so he's had an MRI scan, just waiting for the results of that.
I know Dirksen obviously is likely to be out. What did he make of his incident?
Yeah, it probably looks worse than one would suspect. For me, the guy's falling, receiving the ball, he's coming in fully committed. It's difficult to pull out. I can understand why, maybe sanctioned with a red card, but equally I've seen those being yellow carded in recent times.
Who have you got left as wing options then? Who's actually fit and available at the moment?
Well, obviously Ben John come on, so he's an option. We've got some younger players as well who had been lined up for the B&I Cup game. So we've got some strength and depth there, and the bodies that we do have are healthy, which is a good thing.
Can you give us some sort of indication of the last couple of weeks since the Glasgow game, what's been going on internally? Because that's a hell of a low to a hell of a high in a very short space of time.
Yeah, it is, and you ask what's been going on internally, and quite rightly, because when you're outside, we're all like that as supporters of any team and in any sport. But for us, there's been a levelness, if that makes sense, in terms of knowing where we were when we weren't winning and weren't performing at the level that we would expect. And equally, on the back of a good performance at the weekend, we're not getting above our station. So that levelness is still in the same place. The players are fully grounded. It's a tight group. I genuinely mean that. And the boys were desperate to turn performances around. I got a text message from one of the players after the Munster game saying, we'll get through this. We'll just keep sticking together, keep working hard, keep enjoying what we're doing. And again, not in some sort of clouded or silly way, enjoying your work because it's quality work, and if enough of us do the basics well time and time again, we'll get the rewards because there's quality within the group.
Well, something plainly changed. Is it simply getting internationals back?
No, I don't think it was. And you're suggesting something plainly changed? No, it didn't.
Something in the performance.
Obviously, the performance changed, but your internationals coming back, people are going to win. Dan Lydiate, Owen Watkins, who I thought had his best game for the Ospreys since my time. They obviously bring a dimension of quality, and that quality rubs off on other players. It gives them the confidence to go out and perform at a level and maybe not have to carry the same leadership quality within the group, just do their job. Did anything change? Not in terms of mindset, not in terms of approach to training, not in terms of mood within the group. The mood today is one of smiles. There was energy last week, but the energy obviously is at a higher level today on the back of a decent performance. But we've been fairly constant as a group in terms of what we're about. We haven't lost sight of ourselves. We knew we weren't performing to the level that we needed to be performing to. The basic errors in our game against Glasgow and indeed against Munster cost us dearly. At the weekend, we significantly reduced those basic errors.
Just to mention Owen Watkins, not necessarily your area, but a lot of Saracens fans had never heard of him before that game, for instance. Obviously, he seems to have been inspired by the European campaign. Has the last sort of month, 6 weeks been a big step forward for him, or actually was it a bit frustrating not to get a bit more action?
Well, I think, when I came in here, people talked about the qualities of Owen Watkins. And, he hasn't played that many games for us this season. And he's just come back from a long-term injury, so on the back of that, I think he's showing real quality, and that quality is going to grow in terms of his understanding of the game, in terms of his the number of games that he has and his communication with those around him, 10s, 13s, the forward unit. His presence on the ball is excellent. There are other aspects that he'll be developing, I'm sure, in due course.
Alan, on Rhys Webb, would you like to see Welsh Rugby's stance softening to allow him to continue his international career?
I think obviously that's a question for the powers to be in Wales. For me, Rhys Webb's a quality player, and Wales have other good nines. We've good nines in this camp here, but as I say, he's a world-class player, and on his day he's as good as anybody out there.
Obviously, at the start of the season, there were a few injuries in the pack. Obviously, got Arhit back, Lidjit back, Tipuric obviously missed a few games. How much of a boost do they give the whole squad, not just sort of on match day, but every day in training to have players of that calibre?
Yeah, I thought, I asked some serious questions of the forwards a couple of weeks ago in terms of our work without the ball, and at the weekend I thought we displayed the performance levels that are required for forwards at this level of the game, and much more reflective of my expectations of them as individuals. So I tip my hat to them in that regard, but like me, they're ambitious, and they're ambitious that we're even better this week, and I think we're going to have to be.
In terms of Lidjit, he was saying when he was in earlier on that it takes a few games for him to sort of get up to his best standard. He's obviously he's a test slider. Do you think he's getting back to his sort of international best?
Well, against Georgia, I thought he was outstanding, and I know you put things into perspective, but he made 28 tackles in that game. He, without the ball, the on-scene work, maybe the unglorified work, he's as good as anybody out there, and in many respects that can be the glue of your team. It asks serious questions of the opposition when they have the ball, and he brings a physicality and an intent that translates to other players. It gives them confidence to display the same characteristics, and he's a real enforcer in our team.
Obviously, and Pat might have struggled a bit early doors in the season. Do you think that there needs to be an emphasis in terms of recruitment, in terms of getting the depth of the pack a bit stronger than it's been?
When did they struggle? Just
in general, it's not
just asking.
They're not as strong as they've perhaps been in the past, where you've had Adam Jones, etc. playing, and obviously you rely a lot on your international.
It's interesting because I don't really broadcast it, but our stats are as good as anybody's in terms of our ball winning. There are obviously areas we're trying to work on, but if you look at our scrum and our line-out stats in the Pro 14, we're right up the table there. Against Claremont at scrum time, we struggled, but the report that we received back from the referee is that we struggled through more to do with what Claremont got away with. Having said that, we need to be able to deliver and adapt on any given day, and I think we've learned a lot from that game, and that's key. It was key to our performance against Saracens and again at the weekend.
But is it obviously your early wins, etc. They're leaders, not just as players. Do you think that you look at sides that win won leagues, etc. They have that layer behind the internationals that they can rely on. Is that something that you'd like to?
Yeah, most definitely. I said at the start, you're really looking at 3 players in each position. You want 3 front rows: a front row that's happy to be selected, for instance, a front row that's disappointed but happy to be on the bench, and a front row that's really disappointed because they're not in the 23 at all. You want that for all levels of your game. Having said that, we're a young side. You have Alan Wynne and Bradley Davis, but below that you're looking at 21, 22-year-olds. So it's about bringing those players up to speed and building the level of experience, the European games, the top end games in the Pro 14, the knockout games in the Pro 14 that are going to give players the confidence to kick on in sport and kick on for us as a group.
How important will discipline be this weekend?
Yeah, critically, it's something we probably need to address from the weekend. We were on the wrong side of the penalty count, albeit that often happens away from home. But there were penalties we give away that we felt were unacceptable, didn't need to be given away. We don't want to lose our appetite for playing with the ball and maintaining possession of the ball and getting the ball back, but we need to be disciplined, because Northampton showed that, given a sniff, they've got the players that can break you down, and they've got a forward unit that can take you on. They scored from one driven maul, so we have work to do to make sure that we keep them out and play in the right areas.